What's up, world? It's your boy AJ the Black World Traveler, and today we are going to talk about how to get a passport. I know people have that I meet sometimes. Sometimes they're curious. Sometimes they don't even have a passport. Some people don't really have one, and if you don't have a passport in the U.S., you want one. It's not even a hard process. It's a very easy process. Now, what the passport does for you is that the passport allows you to travel around the world. You get 10 years on the passport. The way you able to travel around the world, going through different borders, is having this passport. This passport gives you the accessibility. It gives you the opportunity to travel the world, so you can go to places you always wanted to go to and fulfill your dreams. And so, if you have not done this process, let me show you. This process is very easy. Now, how to get started? Basically, you need three things. You need your original birth certificate, you need 2 passport pictures, and you need the application. Now, how do you get these things? Personally, I go to the post office, because if you go to the post office, the U.S. Post Office, they do have the applications, but you have to get your photos. So, to make it easy for you, if there's a Walgreens or CVS in your neighborhood, or Walmart, they do passport pictures. I usually go to Walgreens to get mine done. So if you go to a Walgreens, just tell them you want passport pictures. It's like $15. They make you 2 pictures. They basically take the picture, size them up for you, because one goes into your records and one goes in your passport. If you don't have your original birth certificate and you need to order one, all you have to do is know what state you were born in and city, and you can order it online. You basically pay a fee, and they will send your birth certificate to you in the mail, and that'll be so once you have that birth certificate, the 2 photos and the application, you can start the process. So I always advise you to get the application first and fill it out. And then once you fill the form out, get your photos and get your original birth certificate, and then you can get access to your passport. It works for 10 years. You can go anywhere in the world for 10 years. So if you don't want to go to the post office, you can also go to a passport agency or a passport office where they actually do the processing. Now, I live in Arizona, and I live in the Phoenix area, but if you are in the Phoenix area and you want to get your passport done faster, they process the passports in Tucson. That's where they process them. So if you drive to Tucson and go to the passport division in Tucson, you can get your passport the same day. Now, I know before COVID, you were able to go down there, fill out the application, do the photos and everything. You walk out with your passport the same day. My buddy did it this year. He didn't get it the same day, but he got it in 3 days. He basically went down to Tucson, did the whole process, and in 3 days, his passport was in his mailbox, and he ended up going to England. That was his first international trip. So that's how you do that. Now, if you're a felon, can you get a passport? Yes, you can. If you're a felon and you have a felony or several felonies, you can still apply for a passport and still get a passport. The thing about it, you have to be off of paper. No kind of probation, or like I don't know about probation. I know parole for sure. If you're on parole and you're going through you're in a parole process and you're staying in a halfway house and all that, of course you cannot do that until you get off paper. Once you've gotten completely off paper and you basically served your time, you are allowed and you're eligible to get a passport. Now, the thing about it, if you are going through probation, you still can get a passport, but if you have a supervised probation, you would have to get, some kind of, approval from your probation officer if you are dealing with that. But usually, you can get your passport. Some countries you have to have a visa, which what the visa does, you have to pay for a visa to enter certain countries. Now, if you do have a passport or the passport ID, and say you're going to certain countries that pretty much allow you to come in, there are countries, if you do have a felony, like for instance, if you have a gun charge, and you're trying to go to Canada, they would not allow you like that. They're very strict on that. So anybody with a gun charge, you would not be allowed in Canada. Some countries are just like that. So if you are traveling somewhere and you have a felony, find out where you can and can't go with the kind of felony you have, so you know that you can make it through. If you don't know how to do that, you basically you can call the immigration or the consulate. So say you have you're going to Canada, call the Canadian consulate and see if you're allowed to come in with a certain felony. Certain countries, any country you travel to, you should always check that, so you know if you go there, you won't have any problems entering the country, because you don't want to buy a ticket and then book accommodations and you get there and then you find out because you have a certain felony on your record, they don't approve you to come to the country, because then you waste your money and your time. So the passport thing is very, very important to have when you, like I say, traveling abroad. And if you haven't traveled, around the world, it's really important. And why it's important to travel outside of your country, because you learn people, especially if you travel with an open mind. If you travel with a closed mind, like if you go there and you expect for everything to be like America, I've seen people travel and say, well, they'll be on vacation and they're talking about how this is not like America, that's not like America, because when you travel, the purpose of traveling is to be able to experience other cultures, other people, other languages, other food. So if you go to a place, go with an open mind. Don't go with the mind thinking everything has to be like here. That's the purpose of leaving the country and leaving your home, to go somewhere different so you can learn culture and learn about different countries. So go with an open mind and be friendly, man. Don't expect for everything to be handed to you because you're American, because some people don't understand that the whole world don't just bow down to us when we go places. And also, be open-minded about trying different foods. Now, if you're not an open-minded person and you're really stiff and you're irritated, you shouldn't travel if you're going to leave with the wrong attitude. Also, find out what the laws are. Like people who have, like the U.S., we're pretty much marijuana friendly, 420 friendly in the U.S., but a lot of countries aren't. You don't want to go to no country and find weed on the street. I mean, certain things you should not do. I've seen people do stupid stuff like that. Like I was in Colombia and these girls like, oh yeah, we just bought some weed up. They go out there and buy weed off the street, man. If the locals are not doing it, don't do it. If you go to a country and you don't see nobody smoking weed, don't get in the habit of, finding somebody smoking weed, because you don't want to get arrested in another country because you don't know the law. Learn what the laws are. Learn what the laws are as far as like, especially if you're a kind of negative person, you're the kind of person that's kind of ghetto and you want to go into the hood, you might want to go to the hood, the barrios in some countries, which I don't think is too smart, because whenever you travel as a tourist, or an ambassador, if you go to another country, know where you are. I mean, and if you're not too sure about where you're going, it's good to Google it, find what the crime rate is wherever you're traveling to. Also with YouTube now, there's so many videos where people are actually showing you what neighborhoods are good, what neighborhoods are bad. You can kind of maneuver and find yourself a way around the country by going online and doing your research. And there's always going to be statistics about the crime rate or whatever. You want to be in a nice place. Me personally, me and some of my friends, we travel to be involved in the culture. Like for instance, I travel to Panama quite a bit, Colombia. So I'm learning Spanish, so I can speak enough Spanish, and I'm learning more, so I'm able to communicate. It's also, if you want to be that kind of person, learn some language, take some classes. Find a Spanish teacher, or if you're going to Portugal, wherever you go, find a teacher. A good place to go to online is called Varsity Tutors. They have a good thing for like languages. I was taking a language class for Spanish with a lady from Guatemala. She was really good. And then I met a Spanish teacher here in the U.S. Actually, she happened to live in my complex. I picked her up in the lift, and she actually started becoming my teacher, which helped me a whole lot, because when I got down there, the things that she taught me and showed me, I was able to communicate a lot more with the people, like order food and ask for their name and have, conversations. So you can learn. So the power of the passport is that you will notice when you're an American traveler, a lot of times when we go some places, we don't need visas. I have friends that live in Europe, friends that live in, Australia. Some of their countries, they have to get a visa. Doesn't make you a better person. It's just that we have relations with certain countries, and a lot of times you don't have to have, the visa. But find out wherever you go if you need a visa or not, because you want to have that. Because you go to a country where you're required to have a visa and you don't get a visa, you won't be able to enter. Another thing, when you have a passport, whenever you start traveling with your passport and you go into a country, know what you're going there for. Make sure that you have your accommodations booked before you get there. Make sure if you're going to go there, the best thing to do is always have your place to stay. Always have your dates when you're going to come and leave, because when you get to another country and they start asking you questions, you don't want to be stuttering or nothing like that. You don't want to be there and they're asking you questions. You want to make sure you do what date you're coming, date you're coming, what you're there for, have proof of your place of residence that you're going to be at while you're there, and when you're going to leave, so they can see that you're going to come and go for vacation, whatever. Because if you answer the wrong questions and you get I guess you get a little nervous or something, you can get denied entry. And then you don't want to get denied entry because you got to turn around and go back and you won't be able to enter the country. So just, be truthful with what you're there for, and just, go there for a reason to go visit. Don't go there for no other kind of reason, or you're not really sure what you're going for. You plan on staying to a place, don't say, I plan on staying there for, a year. No, your visa, most times if you do have a holiday visa, you don't have to have a physical visa, but every 90 days if you stay into a country, usually you have to renew it or pay extra money so you can stay longer, because some countries you can stay up to a year, but every 90 days you have to re-up your status for being a visitor. Now, the do's and don'ts when you're traveling, the do's is, like I say, get all your paperwork, everything, make sure you have everything set up. So when you get to customers and they're asking you questions, you can just make it through smoothly. The don'ts that I would say is, don't go looking for trouble. Like, basically know where areas are good or bad. If you have a drug addiction problem and you got to have some cocaine or whatever, or you want to smoke weed, I advise you not to go if you can't control that. You don't want to get in another country and you get caught with cocaine on you or something like that, because a lot of these countries are not playing. They're not going to be lenient like how it is in the U.S. Like, you go to places where like drugs are not allowed, like Thailand or, Indonesia. I was in Indonesia in 2000 and I went there, and in the immigration, when you come to immigration, they have a sign that says drug trafficker sentenced to death. So you don't want to get caught in Indonesia with no cocaine or weed in your bag, because you're not going to make it home. They're not going to play with you. So if you do have, you are traveling somewhere, make sure these things are not forbidden in the country you're traveling to. So if you're going somewhere and you do have some kind of a, bad habit or side habit, make sure you don't have any kind of drugs on you, any kind of weed or whatever. Before you get in that plane, make sure that you don't have anything in your bags that might, cause, might pick up a red flag and might get you on the radar. If you go to a place and you buy you go to a lot of places, like Thailand, Colombia, they do have black market stuff. If you do buy from the black market and you buy like Gucci shoes or whatever, find out what the requirements are that you can bring on the plane, because if you bring too much stuff and they think that you're trying to resell it, you will get it confiscated. It can't happen. Find out what the laws are when you go places. If you're going to buy gifts to people. You might see a nice knockoff Louis Vuitton purse or whatever, buy it, but know what the laws are when you go to these places. And overall, man, just enjoy yourself. If you have your passport and you got it approved and everything, the bottom line is enjoy yourself, man. Be a good example of a good American. Don't go no place with your attitude. If you have an attitude and you're cocky and you're violent, you got a temper, and you got a tendency of fighting and arguing every time you open your mouth, stay at home. Don't go overseas and make a fool out of yourself, because you don't want to get caught in a prison over there in these places, because it's not going to be nice for you. Conduct yourself like a true gentleman and a true a lady, because I've seen people do some stupid stuff. Like I said recently, I was in Colombia at the beginning of the year, and these girls they brought weed off the street. It didn't make any sense. Like, you're doing things. Nobody smokes weed in the outside in the public in Colombia. So don't be a person smoking weed outside if they're not doing it. You're not in the United States. Understand that when you go to another country, things that are allowed here are not allowed in other places. Don't go over there and get yourself caught up, because if you get caught up, you're not going to be able to get no help. I mean, I was in the military, and we had guys that went over there and, messed up. And, we had one guy that beat up a cab driver in Dubai. He got 15 years in prison. He didn't even make it home. He basically beat this cab driver up in Dubai, and he was sentenced by that week. He was already sentenced and locked up in prison. He never made it back to the ship. We were there for 1 week. And he went to prison the next day, and he was already convicted, and he did his time. He did 15 years in prison over there for beating up a cab driver. So don't go to no country acting out and being a fool. This has a lot of weight. Your passport has a lot of weight. It gives you a lot of advantages, but don't lose it by being a fool. Don't go out of the country and expect for everything to be like here, and don't expect for people to cater to you. You are an ambassador when you leave the country. You have to represent yourself as a true woman or man of respect. Learn what their cultures are, respect the cultures. Don't avoid conversations if you can. If you're the kind of person to get drunk and act violent, you probably don't want to go overseas. I'm telling you right now, I've seen people get jacked up and they end up getting stuck in these countries. So just be a great person, be a good representative of being an American, and from North America. And if you guys like my channel, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any advice, please leave some messages on the bottom. Give your feedback and tell me what you think about it. Or if you had any experiences, give me some good ideas, or just leave a message and let me know how things went for you traveling. You get 10 years of this thing. Take advantage of it. The main thing, you have this passport. Take advantage of it. And if you don't know how to save money, I have a video showing you how to save as well. The thing is basically just save your money, plan your trips, and enjoy yourself, man. Have a ball in this world. Go see the world. You only got one time on this earth. Go see everything you want to go do. Live your dreams to the fullest, and take advantage of this passport. Take advantage of your passport and go see the world. So if you guys like my channel, please like, share, and subscribe. It's your boy AJ the Black World Traveler. I am out.